Hello, Disney friends. I'm Sam from Sam's Disney Diary. That is Greg, who was just disconnected somehow, but I'm sure he'll be right back. Tonight, we're talking all about the D23 Ultimate Disney Fan Event. Let us know where you are, where you're watching us from. So much happening here very, very soon. Greg, there you are, sir.
All of a sudden something went wonky on me, man. Tonight, man, we are talking. Sam, it's one of those nights. We're talking 23. We got predictions. We got our picks for where we're going, what panels we're going to see. We're going to dissect all that. We're going to talk about D23 Day at Disneyland that we will both be at. It's D23 night, Sam. That's what we're doing. And I'm going to hopefully fix my stuff during this commercial.
Or get it fixed. We'll be right back with all that and so much more. And it's usually me with the wonky things going on, but it is July the 24th, 2024, and we are getting ready for the Ultimate Fan Event. See you in just a minute. All right, Greg, what is up, my friend?
Man, I thought everything was kosher, man. And then
everything is kosher, man. It's all
I got to tell you just a funny story. I recorded a 23-minute YouTube video earlier that I was going to put up about day 3 of the panels. And then I looked back at the video. The video looks great. No audio recorded. So that's twice today.
So
my audio. I think, yeah. So I should talk over it and it'll look like a Godzilla movie from the 60s. It's going to be great, man.
You should use that accent when you do that. Yes,
you should. Got a busy week down. Well, I was busy at home getting ready for D23. A lot of stuff that we had to take care of. You went and saw the what is that? The Pittsburgh Pirates play. And you were
the Phillies were in town. The Cardinals are in town. They played earlier today. They're doing good. You know, it's nice to have a team that's at least in a wild card hunt. You know, I don't know about this whole leading things like the Phillies, but I just,
dude, I'm not even getting my hopes up. We could lead all year, and I still will be like, oh no, we don't have a good enough team. Until that World Series is in their hands, I don't count anything.
That's right.
You went and saw
concerts, didn't you, dude?
I did. I went and saw New Kids on the Block, man. Of all people, God. This guy who listened to nothing but Megadeth and Metallica and Anthrax growing up and hated New Kids, spent the night dancing away in the rain to the right stuff. It was awesome, man. It was.
We had. Well, I hope you went back and watched that 35th anniversary video from Disneyland because they sang the right stuff in that. I hope that you did. I think it was that, or was it the 4th of July? I don't remember. There's lots going on.
Either way, you could find that as Sam's Disney Diary on YouTube if you're hopefully watching on that.
You know what else, by the way? I'm going to mention one other thing there, but I'm going to say that tomorrow is July the 25th. And I like to say Christmas in July. So you might want to watch the blog tomorrow over at samsdisneydiary.com. That's all I'm saying. We'll move on with some Disneyland stuff because, my friend, you and I are going to be participating in D23 Day at Disneyland. And there's a lot of things going on. This is corresponding with the Ultimate Fan event. It's the Thursday before the event that starts on Friday, right?
This is going to be awesome. There is some special stuff that are going on all day. You can, if you're getting early, let's start in the beginning, in the morning. If you get in early, you're going to walk away with some special edition D23 Day at Disneyland Mickey ears.
I think that's them here in the top corner, right? Is that them?
They're going to be handed out right first thing. I thought that was awesome.
I will
over at Disney Junior Let's Play Party in DCA. They're going to have entertainment activities all day for the families. They're going to have special character appearances. They're going to have the party. They got a cavalcade that's going on down there in DCA. Over at Disneyland, because this is taking place in Disneyland, Disney California Adventures, and Downtown Disney. There's going to be so much.
Where to go, man? Where do I go?
I know where we'll be at 12:15 in the morning. We will be on Main Street, USA, in Disneyland. Watching
like just after noon is what you're talking about, right?
Yes. Okay. At Pacific time, because we're talking their time now, not East Coast.
Of course, Disneyland time.
They are going to have a extra special D23 official fan club cavalcade featuring 23 characters.
Oh, nice.
Rare, not seen recently. Like Lotso Bear is going to be out there.
Right.
I guess we're spoiled here at Disneyland or Disney World, because we get Max and Goof from Powerline all the time here.
Right.
It's a special character out there for them. So,
well, that's good. And there may be some others. I am sure there will be characters that we go, oh my gosh, why isn't that character Disney World? And I can't wait to see those. I think Sadness might be one of them, by the way, right?
So, and we'll talk about this in a minute. I have one character in mind that I must meet while I'm out there, Sam.
Okay.
And we have to go take a detour over to Pixar Hotel, because I have to meet Bing Bong.
Bing Bong is Pixar Hotel. Yes, I'm with you. So this is the challenge of D23 Expo as Walt Disney World East Coasters. Let's put it that way. You're a local. I'm not a local, but that's the park that I get to. You get there and you want to go to Disneyland and DCA the whole time, but there are so many other things that we have to see. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I want to go to the parks, but I can't because I'm going to be in the convention center. And it just,
Right. And then Friday and Saturday, it's spent writing the news as it comes out from the convention center.
Exactly.
And how do you juggle? So Wednesday, I am going. Thursday, I am going. I am going to be park hopping between both parks.
Of course.
And I am going to try to get World of Color, Fantasmic, the fireworks, and the parade all in one day.
That's which parade?
Magic Happens, if it's still happening out there.
Okay. Yes, you can get all that up. Fantasmic and fireworks. There are some unbelievable bottlenecks in Disneyland Park between those two things. And on D23 Day, it's gonna be hard, but gosh, I hope you can make it happen, dude.
I'll do it on the Wednesday. I'm good, man.
There you go.
I'm
Yes,
good.
yes. And I may be in time for that. I'm not sure. I got to check schedules and things like that.
By the way, the only ride I have in mind is apparently rumors are swirling that Haunted Mansion and the overlay will be open July 29th. So we should be back in California to see the Haunted Mansion overlay of Nightmare Before Christmas by the time we're out there.
Wow. That would be cool. It seems really, really early, but the first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party is less than a month away. So
yeah. By the way, hello to Tasha. Hi, Holly. Yes. How are you tonight? Jacob, thank you guys all so much for watching along with us.
Absolutely.
We are going to get into our predictions and stuff after we're done talking about Disneyland Day. Let us know what your predictions are. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I definitely want to know that. I want to know what your predictions are, what you guys think. I also wanted to go through the agenda here, at least parts of it, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, the Honda Center is the big event. I found it interesting that on this agenda, the Honda Center, that the Sunday Disney Legends Awards is also going to be streamed or simulcast into the premier stage inside of the convention center. That's the only one of the big presentations that's being simulcast.
Right. I mean, look, if you look at the Legends Award this year, you have first off, they expanded it. And then second off, look at the names that are on there. John Williams, Harrison Ford on there, James Cameron, not including like Miley Cyrus, and just the names on there. You need that to be seen by the world. And yeah, I mean, look, they kept the premiere stage empty at that time for 5 o'clock to do the simulcast. What I want to know is, when we go through this, I want to know what your picks were and which ones you wanted to see.
Yes, and I will go through those because, of course, attending, we needed to select our preferred locations ahead of time. I don't have all of them on here, Greg, because I Talent Central I didn't get, and some of those things, because the schedule goes on and on, because a lot of the booth inside of the expo hall have schedules. Like Joffrey's Coffee has a schedule of events, for crying out loud. So does Thomas Kincaid and some of the
in the last day. That was not there 2 days ago.
It's all there today.
Yep.
It's all there today. It scrolls on and on and on. So I wanted to stick with the big things, right? The premiere stage, of course, is one of the big stages.
Yeah.
And well, one thing I want to point out, let's talk about Honda Center. That's the big one. This is what they're doing completely different this year. We have the Disney Entertainment Showcase on Friday.
Yep.
Saturday is Disney Experiences Showcase, also known as the Disney Parks and Resorts presentation panel.
Yep.
This is the big one. Something to remember back here on the East Coast. This is a 7 p.m. West Coast presentation. So this news isn't going to start hitting East Coast until 10 p.m. So it's going to be pretty late.
At 10
starting
p.m.
at 10 p.m. That's right. Because this will go a few hours at least. So it's probably 9 p.m. local, midnight back east when this thing wraps up. So that's where the big stuff's happening. Those are where we're going to put our predictions out here in just a second.
Yeah. How angry are the East Coasters going to be when Josh tomorrow waits until midnight to go? And by the way, Villains Land.
Exactly
how things go, man. You got to hold off to the headliner. No, I think that's going to be great. But Disney Experiences Showcase, Disney Experiences, by the way, is Disney Publishing, Disney Books, Disney on Broadway, DVC, Adventures by Disney, Cortana Resorts. It is all of that is wrapped up into that Experiences. Disney Games also is on there. So there is, and then of course the parks, the resorts, and stuff like that,
which is what we're counting up. But yeah, I'm not good for a new game here or there or whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, like Kingdom Hearts 4.
Okay. So
Kingdom Hearts fans out there?
Let's look at Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the premiere stage.
Yeah.
And I want you to pick the one go-to for you on the premiere stage, because the problem with this is you have to overlay the premiere stage with the archive stage, with the spotlight stage, with all of these other things to find out where you really want to be. Because in reality, you could spend your day at the premiere stage. Right, 11, 1:30, 3:45, and 6:30 the first day. Come on, you could.
You know what, Sam? While we're looking at that, give me 1 second. I actually have it all listed out in a nice document and sheet, so you can oversee all of the times.
I need that so I can start to draw circles and highlight things.
Yes, I have it by time.
That is historically what I've done. I'll get a highlighter and I'll highlight different colors, my first choice and my second choice, because sometimes the line's just too long for that first choice, and you could wait in it and try, or you just go to your second option.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Of course.
So I have found it. So let me go to share screen. Where is it? Here it is. It is in my drive.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at that, my friend. I need a copy of this sucker. Nice.
Thank you. There you go. There is day one. All listed. All pretty looking.
And now here's where you see the overlaps and the fact that you need to not go to a lot of things is what ends up happening here.
Yeah. So your major ones right there are in the peach, green, blue, and purple. Right. Yes. Those are your main ones right there. So Yeah, things overlap. But if we're going to go off of that main stage, right? What it's so hard
The
to just
premier stage. Well,
yeah,
let's jump back to that premier stage. Is that all
yeah,
right?
go ahead.
If we go back here, because what I want to ask you is, let's look at Friday. 4 presentations on Friday. Forget Honda Center. This is premier
Yeah.
stage. I look at those. Music of Marble, 30 Years of Toy Story, bringing the worlds of Disney animation to life in Disney parks, and the Princesses in Concert. For me, Princesses Concert, nah. Music of Marble, nah, I would not top a list. 30 Years of Toy Story, I think will be fabulous. And bringing the world of Disney animation to life in Disney parks. Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
They are all interesting. Music of Marvel, I again, I appreciate all these things.
Which one do you got? Which one are you circling? I'm circling 30 Years of Toy Story. That's
Disney Princess the concert.
Nice.
Where else?
I get it.
And I'm going to go simple on this, Sam. Like, what made me a huge Disney fan was watching The Little Mermaid, and there's a chance I get to see Jodie Benson, the Little Mermaid herself, singing. You're going to see Paige O'Hara. You may see a Noki.
You're trying to talk me into this.
Rose.
You're trying to.
You're going to see You're going to see, and here's what my hope is: Hercules on Broadway is coming. Right. And it is in shows in Germany and moving to the West over to England. You may get to see a few numbers from that. Like you're going to hear nothing but those major hits, and you don't know who they're going to bring out. Michael James Scott, who plays the Aladdin on Broadway, he could show up. Like
absolutely, he could show up.
But I'm not taking anything away from other ones. But for me, as a Disney fan and my history of Disney, it's the musicals that I love.
Okay, I get it. I'm going for Toy Story. You're going to the Princess concert. Yep. I look at Saturday on that main stage. Nothing's jumping out to me. I think I'm at the archive stage. Now, the archive stage historically is where you will find me. That's Disney history. That's digging into all the details. That's the next slide. We'll talk about the archive stage. So I may not be in the premiere theater at all on Saturday, to be honest.
So I'm going to do this both for business-wise, and then I'm going to do a personal-wise.
Of course.
Business-wise, that Masquerade is massive.
Yeah.
You get many clicks off of it because these people have put in hours and months and days into building these costumes.
Fabulous.
They are, and the person who hosts it is off the charts fabulous. I mean, fabulous. Just wonderful. I love them. They are so good. I will watch them every single time. But for me, technically, there's two things. One, my daughter and I sat and watched Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and it was a father-daughter experience. So we want to know what's coming in season 2. It'd be really cool to be able to live stream it or show it to her while I'm there. But also, Seth MacFarlane, Matt Groening are all going to be there for the animation greats.
Animation greats, Bob Burgers, Futurama, The Simpsons, presented by Hulu. Yeah,
it's just going to be hilarious because they're not listing Family Guy creators going to be there. Futurama's going to be there. It's going to be hilarious. And so I chose that one over everything.
Okay, so let's move to Sunday on the premiere stage, because the premiere stage on Sunday, to me, there are 2 here that I would really, really like to see. It starts with Disney Princesses creating Tiana's World. I'm sure that's all about the Bayou Adventure.
Absolutely.
Jolly Holiday, a D23 musical celebration of Richard Sherman. Come on. Awesome. Cannot wait. And the Disney character voices inside the studio. Anytime you get a panel full of voices that start to talk as the character or read through a script, this is where we've seen things like Ursula be the ghost host. That kind of thing happens when they hand a Disney voice a script from a theme park and say, "Here, can you read this?" That's kind of cool.
That is always really cool. And then the simulcast, of course, you'll be there. So
I will be in Honda Center. Yes.
To me, Jolly Holiday, a D23 musical celebration of Richard Sherman, is one of the highlights probably of the weekend. You're going to have some of his family, his friends come out. They're going to be singing Chim Cherry. You're going to hear It's a Small World. It's going to be, this is probably going to be the festive wake that he deserves. And
100%.
should be probably one of the panel. If take away the Honda Center, that could be one of the biggest panels of the weekend.
I agree with that. Completely agree. Completely agree.
So there's my choice.
All right, now the archives stage.
Yeah, this is where it gets tough.
This is tough because I love these things. The first day, how do you direct animation anyway? That's an interesting take. Now, I'll also say that the archive stage sometimes can be a little boring. I'll be honest. Depending on the person that's presenting, who comes out and presents this stuff, it can be a little dry. I sat through a walkthrough of the Hyperion studio of Walt and Roy that they had way back in the day, and it was a little dry. I'll just leave it at that. But something that cannot be dry, the Muppets.
Like last year, I got to see Encanto, and they brought out Lin-Manuel. They had the characters come out and sing the songs. Like, it was one of the hottest spots you could have been in the whole time was that stage. So it does both, man. And
it does both.
How do you direct animation anyway? I
don't know.
Snooze fest to me.
But flip side, the Muppets 70, a glamorous Miss Piggy retrospective. That's huge.
That is great. Come on, Miss Piggy. And Kermit and look, we just saw Kermit and Miss Piggy here for Jollywood Nights.
Yes.
How are you not going to see them live on stage? And I don't care what you see below the chair. I don't care if you see a guy laying on the floor.
Oh, I prefer that.
The minute they start talking, you're like, oh, that's Miss Piggy.
Yep. Would love to see a Frank Oz cameo there. I'm not sure that would happen.
Yeah,
but
he's getting a Legend Award. There's no saying where they may show up at.
Wow, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
All right, next day, Beautiful Tomorrow, Just a Dream Away. Walt at the 19th.
Wait. We totally skipped over the Walt.
Oh, yeah, we did. Walt Nel Grappo making a Goofy movie.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Moving on.
It's great stuff. Disney.
I hate a Goofy movie. Goofy movie is such a bad movie. Stop, people stop loving that movie.
I love it. I'm
gatekeeping now.
Powerline. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
The next day,
Powerline. Exactly.
Saturday is a Beautiful Tomorrow, Just a Dream Away. I've heard the 64-65 World's Fair story so many times. If there's some net new photos that have never been seen before, that would be amazing.
Right.
But, I don't know. The one thing you don't hear a lot about is Ford's Magical Skyway. We know the diorama ended up at Disneyland in the train, but if you go back and think about it, the 64 World's Fair had the diorama where you were getting in Ford vehicles that were pulled along a people mover type track. And that was the 1964 and a half Ford Mustang that was part of that. That's like, wow, talk about worlds colliding. That was amazing. And that's pretty amazing. So pictures of things like that, I love to see because you don't see a lot of them or find a lot of them. You find lots of pictures of the Carousel Progress and things like that, but in Small World, of course. But right. Marvel Comics, 50 Years of Wolverine. What do you think? It's 50 Years of Wolverine. Yay. Okay. I mean, look, it's the biggest movie of the year is coming out on Thursday, Friday, Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course, Marvel's going to bring out 50 Years of Wolverine for this. Snick, man. Like, how do you go wrong with the guy who has the adamantite and heals infinitely? And I mean, it's Wolverine. You can't say anything negative about Wolverine. He also could come up behind me and extremely goofy movie vote in the chat, by the way. And I don't disagree with that. Yeah. That's what I get for raising him. Stay tuned. You're watching the Disney Channel? That could be interesting. I have, and I know it's not on the list, and I know you don't have it, but part of this, I'll talk about this, and then I'll talk about the other thing, is like Raven's house is going to be there. Raven Simone is going to be there. The Descendants are going to be there. Some of the classic stars are going to be there. It's going to be excellent. But what blows me away is, Sam, I have wanted to do this all of my life. On the showroom floor, they are going to have the wand to do the Disney Channel little Mickey ear thing. And you can record yourself doing the Mickey thing. Now that is the Disney Channel. Yup. Hey, it's Greg, and you're watching the Disney Channel.
Yup. I'm going to do
Love
like, hey, it's Fantasyland News. You're watching
You
the Disney
know,
Channel.
I love that. That is awesome. All right.
So, yeah, I mean, look, that's nostalgia. It's going to be great. Who knows who's going to come out for it? We do know some of them because you can look at the showroom floor who's signing and go, oh, they're going to be there. So it's a cool thing if you grow up with Disney Channel.
Yes, absolutely. Now, this next one, which is at 6:30 on Saturday, is Magic Journeys, Memories of the Sherman Brothers. This overlaps the parks presentation at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I would love to be in two places at once because this is something that deserves to have its own standalone time, not on the archive stage overlapping the Honda Center Disney Parks presentation. That's just a shame.
It's taking their sons. Each one had a son, and the sons are coming together to do a presentation about their fathers.
That's awesome.
I think it's going to be emotional. I think it's going to be great. Again,
it's not going to be well enough attended. I didn't know that was the case, but that tells me Jeffrey's going to be there then. And I had a pleasure of talking to him not all that long ago.
Yeah. I think it's Richard
who had memories of being on the Mary Poppins set.
Yeah. That's got to be, that's going to be such a great panel. I think that one's going to be the emotional one where you hear great backstories about them writing stuff. But again, we have heard so many stories from different Imagineers or from different movies or different books about the Sherman Brothers and how they, and even the boys. Like, so I'm looking forward to hearing new stories come out.
Me too. Sunday, Disney Legends in Conversation. Now, typically they would tell us who it was going to be. Do you have that on your list?
They do not. They just say legends who are being honored that night will be in conversation.
Okay, that's good.
Look at that massive list, though. I mean, it doesn't matter who shows up. Any of those legends, I will listen talk.
Me too. Absolutely, without a doubt. Dream Chasing 4 Decades with Walt Disney Imagineering. Always fun to watch Imagineering.
Yeah, I can watch Imagineering anytime.
1:45 p.m. Donald Duck's 90th Quacktacular.
Yeah. That's happening.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what's going to be great is hearing that Walt Disney Animation and the archivists come out and show you new pictures of original drawings and different cartoons. There's a lot of Donald Duck that we don't get to see in this world anymore. So giving him the spotlight, I think is brilliant.
That's because of his temper, man. If he didn't have the temper, it'd be okay.
Yeah, I guess. I love him, man. Love him.
Magic After Dark, the story of Disney Nighttime Spectaculars. That could be interesting, especially if they announced the new one for Walt Disney World. But
yeah, that's all me right there. That is all me. Especially, it depends on the night before, because if the night before goes really well, especially for us Disney Park fans here in Florida, that one could be a great panel. And I did select that. That was like my 4th selection of the day.
Very cool.
So I'm hoping to get that one.
Okay. Then Charles Phoenix, big retro Disneyland slideshow. Who's Charles Phoenix?
He does some big retro stuff.
Okay.
No
you
clue,
just
man.
made that up. I know.
It says big retro. He's an archivist, I believe, but he will go back in his personal collection of Disneyland photos from the 60s, 50s, and 60s when it opened. And this is not the first time I've heard his name associated with Disneyland.
All right, cool. All right, backlot stage. I'm only going to mention a couple of things here, and I'll let you mention what you think sticks out. Number one, to me, is Disneyland foods yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That sounds great.
Right.
Because I like Disneyland food.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Personal art and artifacts from the Walt Disney Family Museum. I've been to that museum. Wonderful place. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Anything else jump out at you?
Oh, yeah. So for me, it's the first two. It's Behind the Summer Shenanigans with Phineas and Ferb, Dan Povenmire, and Jeff Swampy Marsh.
Sure, absolutely.
I am all over that. I am there. Right. I got to interview Dan Povenmire at last D23 and
Very
had
cool.
Him and his daughter were gracious and funny, and I love his TikTok. I am a Phineas and Ferb fan. So, and then of course, so I remember playing Epic Mickey when it first came out on the Wii, and you got a paintbrush controller.
I
And
have
that's what I want.
yes.
I want to walk out of there with a paintbrush controller.
A rebrushed controller. Yes.
A
Yes. Yes. Yes, I
rebrushed
do.
controller. I'm looking
Okay.
forward to that one. Look, THQ Nordic is doing the game. They're going to have on the showroom floor, you can actually play the demo of the game. So in my household, video games from THQ, that's a big thing. So I want to check out that. I'm not
Of
too
course.
big onto Lorcana, Grey's Anatomy. I don't know anything about
Abbott
that. The fashion
Elementary.
design,
No, that's okay.
Pixar's Win or Lose, they're going to show episode 1 and 2. That's going to be out on Disney Plus soon, so I don't
I'll
mind
see it
missing
on Disney
that.
Plus.
The other thing that stands out to me is 60 years of Disney ambassadors.
Sure.
Two things. One, I got to meet Debbie Dane Brown, who was the first
Disneyland
ambassador for Walt Disney World, 50 years ago, 53 years ago now, whatever it was. But the last D23, I was walking through Disneyland right by Sleeping Beauty Castle, and who do I run into? But Debbie Dane Brown, and she goes, I know you. And I was like, oh my gosh, you do know me, but I know you more importantly. And I had one of the greatest conversations.
That's cool.
More importantly, the ambassadors, they just switched over the ambassadors down here this year. And Rayvon Redding, who is one of the most gracious, beautiful human beings I know, is going to be one of the hosts of D23. So he will be out there.
That is great.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Ashley Eckstein, Brett Iwin have all been announced as the host of the whole thing.
That's wonderful. Can't wait for that.
So seeing that Rayvon's going to be there, I love the ambassadors, especially doing media events down here, Stan, that you and I have done. We get to see them all the time, and they are great people. They represent the cast members of their parks extremely well. So I'm looking forward to that.
The last thing on here, Greg, that I would love to see, but this overlaps the legends, is the very last thing, which is down the rabbit hole, the Disney you didn't know.
Yeah.
Those presentations are amazing because that's when they bring out sort of the World War II stuff that Disney did and all of these things that you just never expected Disney would do. I have one of these presentations on Sam's Diary. It's called Disney Did That with the question mark. And it's all sorts of things, even Pixar and some of the old animated lightsaber commercials where they bounced around like jelly. That was all Pixar. It's like, are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Yep. That's one I'm looking forward to also. So I think that's another one where I'm like, I would love to go see that. And then the other stages that we have is the Hyperion stage where it's costuming, it's pioneering women of Disney, it's a lot of National Geographic, unusual artwork inside Walt Disney Studios. Like there's stuff like that I'm just like, this is a great stage to go hang out at.
Inside the Walt Disney Studio, a cinematic history. That's interesting. The Hyperion stage, that is in the expo hall, right?
No, that one was on the 3rd floor last time.
Okay. It's the one opposite the archive stage, which I was always in the archive stage.
Yes. Now here's a little caveat. I got to speak to Wendy, who runs D23 in Florida, and she said that she was going to be running the stage in Hall A. And I've never heard of a stage in Hall A. I think they're going to be redoing where the stages are because things are more open now. Because you don't need
the big stuff is not in the huge Hall D or whatever they called it.
Right. So when the map comes out in a week or two, we'll have a better idea of where everything is going.
Speaking of maps and maps coming out, can I use that as a segue to what predictions or things that I would love to see announced during this Parks Expo? Because I went ahead and did some screenshots of Google Earth and pulled a couple of things together. And I thought, Greg, we could talk about each of the parks, what we're hoping to hear. And I think the most obvious one is the Magic Kingdom.
I say we do that. And then I want to hear at the end of this, at the end of our predictions for each park, and we're only going to give 1 or 2 predictions. We're not going to spend hours doing this. I also want to hear 1 or 2 things that we absolutely will not hear this year. Because there's a lot of people hoping for things. So let's go through individual parks and pick 1 or 2 things and talk about it.
Let's do that. And by the way, Jacob, I completely 100% agree with you. Disney
Oh, yeah,
fans,
Jacob.
because it gets you through tough times and stressful times. And I'll tell you something, as much stress as Greg puts on me to put this show together, I love talking about it. And he doesn't, by the way. That's a complete joke. But Magic Kingdom. So a couple of things, Greg. First, let's zoom in on a place called Big Thunder Railroad.
Wait. Did you just try and throw me under the magic
No,
bus?
I did not. I did not.
I live at the parks 5 days a week. He's like, yeah, that guy doesn't like Disney. Don't know why he does a show about it.
This is Big Thunder Railroad. And now we've talked and we know that they've speculated about what is beyond Big Thunder. And I went and took a bunch of pictures and tried to figure out how are they going to do something beyond Big Thunder Mountain, because there's this riverboat that comes around. There's a track that swings out over top of the river. There's no way they could do it. Then upon further review, it hit me like a ton of bricks right in the face, Greg. That's not Beyond Big Thunder.
No.
Beyond Big Thunder is right in front of us the whole time. And Beyond Big Thunder is the area that was the playground that they took out and they didn't bring back, because you're going to go down like you're going to the train station under the track and make a right-hand turn before the restrooms for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And that's going to open you up beyond Big Thunder with minimal disruption to Big Thunder Mountain. And they've already done the disruption that would have been to Splash Mountain when they made it Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's brilliant.
There is, and by the way, what you don't see is there's a whole lot of more acreage.
So, all right,
there
I'm glad
you go.
Because look, I knew where you were going to go. There's one plot. There's two plots. There's three plots. There's four plots. There's five plots. There is space all over this behind Big Thunder that is currently trees on the,
and then wrap that number 3 all the way back around to where the show floor of Haunted Mansion is.
Yes, and the back of the expanded Fantasyland. My point is, once you create that opening, which they've already done with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, there is so much space back there. And even that service road that's a little bit beyond, that can be moved, right? There's some backstage elements and things that would need to be worked around. But think about when you go under the pillar in Hollywood Studios to go back to Galaxy's Edge. Right. You're going to go under something, which in Disney speak is setting the stage. So you go underneath that train track and you open up into something completely new that could be Cars Land, that could be Villains Land, that could be anything. This is
right. And you can throw out the idea that they're not going to build on the other side of the railroad tracks anymore. They did it with Tron. Tron is now on the other side.
Yes, they did it with Tron. Well, they've always done it, right? Even in this case, when you look at Splash Mountain, it's the main building's on the other side. Look at, I'm sorry, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Look at Pirates of the Caribbean, right? It's on the other side. It's just space everywhere. You're absolutely right. It's the gift of space.
Good evening, Theron, by the way.
And it's blowing my mind when I start to look at this and see how much space is here, because this is like the expanded Fantasyland from 2008 or 2018. I forget when they did that. It's like that times 2, times 3.
Dude, by the way, 2011, I think they did that.
Was it 11?
2018. Yeah, I think you need to go back a little further.
I think they announced it in 8 and it's opened in 11. Either way, dude, we're gonna hear.
All right,
something
so
beyond Big Thunder.
I think you're right on that. But here's where I'm gonna tamper things down a little bit, because the excitement of Beyond, and listen, at D23, Disney needs to come out and hit this hard. They need to bring us something solid this year.
Yes.
Are they going to do that? Yes, they will, but not all the way. You are going to hear about a 2 or 3 phase approach to what's beyond Big Thunder Mountain. They did talk about a Coco. They talked about a Villains. They talked about Encanto. We already know Encanto is going over into Animal Kingdom. So
That's
take
the next thing I
Encanto
want to
out.
talk about. Yep.
But I truly believe, and here's one of my guesses, and one of my predictions is we are going to hear the announcement of Big Thunder Mountain's going to be shut down for about a year. They're going to redo the tracks. They're going to redo the inside a little bit. They're going to do a lot of work
for that entrance. Yes, I get that. Yeah, okay.
They're going to retrack the whole ride. The whole ride is up for refurbishment.
Well, so, and give us Disneyland's ending, please. Thank you.
Yeah, give us the dynamite. I'm cool with the dynamite. Give us the dynamite. I want the goat awesome. And the dynamite. I'm a simple man, Sam. I think you're going to hear about Coco. I think Coco is definitely on the table.
Beyond Big Thunder, Coco?
Yes. Beyond Big Thunder, Coco.
What are your thoughts on Cars being Beyond Big Thunder?
I've said that from day one. I think we are getting Cars Land East. I don't know how far we're going to. I think we'll get the smaller rides. I don't think we're going to get test track 3, 4, 5, whatever, a second test track down here.
Because you don't think we're going to get Radiator Springs Racers, but you think we're going to get
Luigi's
and Mater's Junkyard Jamboree.
Yes.
Well, we already have that over in studios. So it's Alien the Swirling Saucer. That's Junkyard Jamboree. Same thing.
Yeah. We also have 10 Dumbos?
Yeah.
I mean, 3 Dumbos. So
no,
we're going to lose
I'm
one
not
Dumbo.
Disagreeing with you. This is why I can't wait to hear something. So I'm good with a phased approach. I have no problem if they say this is phase 1, and then we have phase 2 and 3 in the next 5 to 10 years. What's phase 1, and when are we breaking ground on that sucker?
I think you're looking at quickly. I think a lot of this stuff. Look, we are getting Animal Kingdom's going to happen first.
Let's talk about Animal Kingdom.
With permits and stuff that we are getting Animal Kingdom done.
That's the next image that I have here is Animal Kingdom. Let's zoom in on this
area
right here.
Hold on. Let's go back to Magic Kingdom real quick.
All right. Sorry. Let's go back.
I do want to talk about my other.
You got another one. All right. Tell me.
One other thing, and it's a mix-up. Now you can toss a coin on what park this goes to. I hope you have a 4-sided roll a dice, and a 4-sided die, little triangle die, roll it, and whatever park it lands on, this is where it's going. But I fully believe we are getting a new nighttime, not spectacular. It could be, but I think we're getting a nighttime parade.
God, I hope so.
In the Magic Kingdom, and not, please, no matter what anybody does, not Main Street Electrical Parade.
That's my shirt, dude. I wore it just in case you brought this up. My Main Street Electrical Parade game.
I appreciate you for that.
I want Paint the Night in Disney's Magic Kingdom so bad. I saw it for the 60th. Oh my gosh, that's almost 10 years ago, right? I saw it for the 60th in Disneyland. Paint the Night is an amazing nighttime parade, and oh my gosh, I would love to see that come to Walt Disney World. I don't know where it is. I don't know where those floats went.
I think they were driving them off a cliff last time I heard about them. I don't know. I think they're just not in existence anymore. We were out there when Main Street Electrical Parade was finished, and they were kind of pulling those trailers out to the dumpster. They didn't throw them in the dump, but they were being put away in storage.
I get it.
I think that's what we're looking at. Now, if it doesn't come to Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, something, and what could happen is, look, Festival of Fantasy is now hitting 11 years old.
Yes.
It's getting a little long in the tooth. It's beautiful. But I think if we don't get a full-on nighttime show, I think we're going to get a late evening or late afternoon, early evening show that could run when it's dark out. So who knows?
So let's talk about that for a second, because I don't think you have any nighttime parade coming to Animal Kingdom.
No, but you could, and hear me out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I'm right. A World of Color type show, or the drone show in that amphitheater.
I would love to see something in the amphitheater at Animal Kingdom. Absolutely. It's wasted space. It's stroller parking right now. That amphitheater is a huge area that needs something.
Yeah, that's a great picture. Love that picture of it.
100% agree. It's just this huge space that is a huge part of this. So, all right, I want to zoom in on Dino Land, which is down here, because we know something's coming here. What'll be interesting to see is, number one, this is the area we're talking about.
Yes.
Essentially from Dinosaur the ride all the way up to and including the dinosaur that's there at the beginning of Hester and Chester's and the dig site. All of that is what we're talking about. And you mentioned, Greg, that there were some permits. The permits were for some construction backstage to build some offices for Imagineers and things like that, which is awesome.
And now, look, we already have Primeval Whirl or Primeval Hurl is gone.
It's gone. It's not even in this Google image, which is probably 6 months old.
It looks like such a small spot, but look at how big of a coaster that really was.
It was, and there's a lot of space here. And when you start to look at it, right, at Expo 22, we saw concept art that was Moana related.
Yep.
And this is where they were going. And clearly their minds changed, because at Destination D down in Walt Disney World last year, we saw the concept art that was the continental, what did they call it? Central Americas, which was Encanto and Indiana Jones and lots of things like that. Here's my question for you, Greg, or my thought. Are we going to stick with that concept art, or are they going to give us yet something completely different this go round?
I think this is what you're looking at. I think it is Encanto. I think it's Indiana Jones. The Amazonian theme, or the Central
Americas is
America theme. Yeah. It works so well in that park.
It does,
including if you want to bring animals, which is what Animal Kingdom is known for, into that section of the park. You can.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of toucans. You're going to see a lot of things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look what you're looking at. Top left-hand side. That is the casita. What is the casita going to be? Is it going to be an interactive show where you have parts of the building that move around? And is it going to be a walkthrough?
Is it going to be what is it? Yeah.
What is it? I think we're going to get that.
It's a Haunted Mansion Omni Mover in disguise.
You know how much I would love that, Sam? And look, you can get how many people through the Haunted Mansion? Like,
Omni Movers are the best.
2,200 people an hour or something like that. I'm okay with it. There's nothing wrong with that. I love that idea. Indiana Jones. Dinosaur is becoming Indiana Jones. Yes. Is it going to be a complete one-to-one copy? No. I think they're going to update Indiana Jones and make it a little bit better out here. Better cars. It's the same track. Dinosaur and Indiana Jones share the same track.
They do.
You're going to see them share some of the same elements, but I think it's going to be updated and better.
I absolutely agree. And in this concept art, it's interesting because if you remodel a house, I don't know if you've ever done that. The things that you don't like to change are the plumbing. So the bathrooms stay in the same place and the kitchens stay in the same place. Everything else you can move, which is why whatever this counter server restaurant is appears to be the same relative shape as Restaurantosaurus. It's not Restaurantosaurus, but it's the same general shape and location. So you can use that sort of as your indicator of where things are, because that doesn't move. And of course, the facade for Dinosaur doesn't move because that show building doesn't move. Everything else is completely gone.
What I love about this one is down at the bottom, you see, this is where, what is the Triceratops spin is. That's the exact place where it's going to be Triceratops spin only Central America, or is it going to be a carousel? I'm cool if we ride a bunch of donkeys that, what's her name? Louisa would carry around.
She picked them up and brought them over. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Like
or maybe she's in the middle holding them.
We now get to ride a bunch of donkeys. I'm cool with that, man.
Okay, so do you anticipate, outside of this, because we're pretty sure we're going to hear some final things on what's happening in Dinoland. There have been rumbling and rumors. Well, number one, we have not yet seen the Zootopia overlay of Tough to Be a Bug inside the theater. That has not happened.
Which we know is coming.
That's coming. That hasn't happened yet. There's also been rumblings of something at Conservation Station.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be cool to hear. It's something that I'd put on a list of cool. Do something cool there. Besides, the problem is it is a functioning animal hospital, and they use it for things at Animal Kingdom. It's not like it's just an attraction for front of the house. There's a lot of back office things which may or may not change.
Yeah. They do also have a little bit of space before there, but that is also housing for the elephants, the
Yes.
rhinoceros. You're not moving some of that stuff.
No. That stuff you're not going to move, which is why Dino Land, being where it is sort of to the left, sort of out of the way of all the animal and the back infrastructure.
Yeah. But I will say, if I had to do a prediction of what I want to hear or what I think we're going to hear is, I don't think we're going to hear about Avatar Ride Part 2. I think we're going to hear about an expansion of a Lion King attraction. Yeah.
Okay.
I think and you're looking at either a boat ride or safari ride that takes you through. I mean, look, you can put it right next to the savannah and you're right in that general area and there's space out there.
So I got one more question I'm going to ask you. This Encanto attraction, whatever this might be. And I joked Omnimover, but that's a real thing that's on the table.
Absolutely.
Is this an Omnimover? Is this a boat ride? Is this a trackless ride system like Ratatouille and
oh gosh, please no.
I bet it's going to be one of those
unless it's Beauty and the Beast and then they bring it over from Paris and retheme it to Encanto. I don't want any more trackless rides here.
Okay.
That's
well then what do you want? Are you looking at a boat ride or are you looking at
I'm looking at Omnimover. I'm looking at thing like if you look back at the original one where you see Moana, right? Do you have that one up?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay. So that Moana ride just got a new patent, right? And it is a dome screen that goes all around you, surrounds you, but you're now on a boat that moves on this track and it can go through waves and stuff like that. So you don't ever actually physically
move. On the left here, this looking ride. That's cool.
Yeah. So, really I mean, they have a new patent they just did for that. So that is going to be interesting how they incorporate it. As far as Encanto, I think you're going to see Disney's going to want to go trackless, but they're not getting as many people through on a trackless ride as they are on an Omnimover.
Agree. And we haven't seen I was going to say we haven't seen a new boat ride since Pandora. And that's okay. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. Yeah. Chalk it up to something happening. Let's move on to Epcot.
By the way, a huge storm just brewed up here. All of a sudden, I'm seeing lightning out of the corner of my eye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know what? We only got 8 minutes left. Let's keep going because we got 2 parks to get through.
Epcot, we'll make it.
Number one, the first thing I want to hear about Epcot is what is going to happen with this little building up here that they're ignoring that was supposed to be the play pavilion that is right now doing absolutely nothing. Do something.
I have an answer.
Okay.
That is my I have 2 things on Epcot. One of them is not a good thing, but one of them is really good. That play pavilion, or what was Wonders of Life Pavilion, or the festival space, whatever you feel like calling it, the big golden building, the dome, is going to end up being announced that Wonders of Life is going to turn into almost what Wonders of Life was. Now, Test Track, we're kind of going back to World of Motion. We're bringing the past back a little bit.
Exactly.
I think you're going to bring back a little bit of the Wonders of Life, and you're going to put in there Pixar. You're going to put in Inside Out 2. You're going to bring in Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Or just a Pixar thing? Is it HQ completely themed Inside Out, or is this a Pixar thing in general?
I think this is going to be a Pixar thing in general, but you have to do Inside Out 2. You have to do Baymax because you could do Inside Out 2 and talk about mental health.
How do you theme it to fit World Discovery right next to the Galaxarium?
It doesn't matter anymore. It's Epcot, man. Just throw an IP in there. I don't know how we're going to... It's Wonders of Life. It's going to be a health building. It's discovering the inner body and mind.
I'll tell you what will get that thing jump started is a sponsor. That's for damn sure because we know a sponsor changes everything. Which, by the way, I did not put on my list.
The biggest animated movie of all time, and they need to bring that Inside Out into the parks. And it's not going to take over Figment. It's got to have its own thing, and I think that's where.
Well, there were rumblings for quite some time that it would be a movie that would be in the theater where the Pixar shorts are right now, the old Michael Jackson theater.
Yeah.
That's been a rumbling for a long time. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I did not highlight Imagination on my list, but I would love to see some announcement about that.
You're not getting anything about Imagination.
I don't expect to. I would be completely
here's why.
shocked if
and
we do.
I actually have a reason why.
Okay.
Recently, and I want to say 4 or 5 months ago recently, Walt Disney Studios and Disney Parks put up a reel of Figment walking around Disney Studios,
Okay.
animation studios, which means that they are working on a Figment movie.
I'm
Right?
good with that.
You're not
Now,
going
is
to hear
that Figment
anything
movie?
about Figment or Imagination until this movie comes out, and then they will retheme it to what this movie is.
Movie like animated movie in the theater
Yes.
starring Figment.
Starring Figment, correct.
Man, that has, oh God, I hope it's good.
I had the same thoughts as you, my friend. I was like, oh God, man, I hope it's good.
Bears. All right, let me keep going around to Epcot because we also know that there's some space between the Living Seas and the Land. That's where the movie ride was originally going to be. That's space. Right. I don't think we're going to hear anything there. We also have some space back in the United Kingdom where Mary Poppins was rumored to be.
Yeah, but that won't come out again this year.
I agree. We also have space between Japan and Morocco. We have space between America and Italy. We have space between Italy and Germany. We have a lot of space where Equatorial Africa was supposed to be.
Right.
We have some
space. You don't have as much space back there as you think, though.
Either way, there's space.
Yeah.
And my point is there's lots of expansion plots in and around Epcot that could potentially get some love. That's all I'll say. Because if I were to do this a few years ago, I would have highlighted the space between Morocco and France, which is now Ratatouille.
Right. And, you know, a lot of people really would love to hear that.
I don't think so. But
I don't think we're going to. I think major announcements for Epcot, other than a small ride or two, I think that we're not hearing much.
I'd love to hear something happen with the Playpavilion.
Yeah, because I think that's their biggest eyesore right now at Disney World. At Epcot.
It's capacity that was taken away. It was never replaced.
Yeah,
and it's a building that they should be using for something. All right. Let's move on to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, let's. Not much.
Do a very, very high level image of Hollywood Studios because I want to include that little building down there on the bottom, Greg, that you're familiar with. And I would love to hear something about this hotel experience that has been forgotten, but it's still there and it's close to Hollywood Studios. And do something with the Star Cruiser, Disney. Come on.
So I have so many high hopes for this that I can't even put it to words. Like, I would love to see a retheme. I know tax purposes, they took out, they did depreciation value for the next 2 years on it. So they can't touch it for 2 years. And it's already been a year almost. Look, are we going to get, I would love to then be like, by the way, Star Wars Hotel, the Revenge of the Sith. And I'd be like, here, money, just take all my monies. Whatever I have, take it all. Look, you could, and I'm not kidding, Sam.
I know.
The people who went on this, I would have paid $10,000 for a 3-night cruise and lived on there and done the story. It was worth it. It was only for people who could afford it. It was a special cosplayer and interactive Dungeons and Dragons storyline. And I
want to hear something. Look, Greg,
I'd love to hear something.
I would pay money to get on a transport at Galaxy's Edge and go there for a dinner show and then transferred back into Hollywood Studios.
I would be sad going into that building every time.
But still, you have the facility, you have dining space, you have a stage, you have a condition.
Yeah, it's in great condition. It's being taken care of. Security still sits out there. The lights are still on. It still is operational.
This space station is fully operational. I'm moving on because we're running out of time, but
I want the system.
Zoom in a little more on Hollywood Studios, and now let me play where I am here. At the very top of this screen is the edge of the Rock and Roller Coaster. Okay. At the bottom of this screen is Toy Story Land. What I'm highlighting now is the building for The Little Mermaid, which we know is coming back, hopefully sooner than later in 2024, and One Man's Dream.
Yeah.
Everything else in this image, whether it is the current launch bay building or the backstage animation buildings and parking garage or the other backstage facilities, are all game. Connecting Rock and Roller Coaster and right here, this is Sunset Boulevard back into an expansion that ends up at Toy Story Land. Give me something, man. Come on.
Yeah, I got nothing, man. I think you are not. Look, the wants are huge. What's going to happen is not. I think Disney has gotten rid of so many playgrounds they got rid of Laughing Place. They got rid of a few other places where kids, and I'm talking Disney kids,
I agree.
have to go.
I agree.
They get Disney Junior play area, and that's it.
Well, and Disney Junior is still here in this image. I did not highlight that because that's a separate building. Yeah, and when you look at it from above,
that launch bay and the Mermaid Show is coming back. One Man's Dream will always be there. Right. The animation where you see the building and the parking garage, that animation building is our press reps' offices now. That's where they work out of. Launch Bay, I do see Launch Bay going away. But here's what I'm thinking on that, Sam. I'm thinking they expand Disney Junior. I think they bring in the new shows, and I think, and I'm not kidding when I say, I think they're working, and I think Bluey is going to come to Disney parks. I think that's going to be a major coup for Disney to get, and I think Bluey is massive.
I'd be good with that. I'd be good with taking that Disney Junior area, which is the launch bay, and make that whole thing a Disney Junior. Look, at D23 day at Disneyland has a huge family thing happening at
Disney Junior.
At Disney Junior, right? That's that's what should be here.
Yeah. So
I don't disagree.
You're getting rid of Star Wars. Star Wars is too spread out in Hollywood studios.
Well, Launch Bay was always sort of here's the problem that Disney has, and they created this on their own. That's where people like me go to see Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Where are you going to put Darth Vader in Launch Bay without having this, right? That's my concern. They'll figure it out. But I think
you
there's
can put
a lot
skeleton
of
on Endor.
Yeah. There's a lot of space at studios in the back here.
Yeah.
I think there's some announcements coming. I hope that all this, I mean, look, we've heard everything from this Toy Story Land being expanded over into and including the Rock and Roller Coaster rethemed as a Monsters roller coaster.
Right. Or Muppets or anything.
And we've heard that all this becomes a Pixar type thing.
Yeah.
I want an announcement of some sort. And I think Launch Bay is going to be announced to become something.
Yeah.
Maybe it is Bluey. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Hey, so outside of the parks, because that's our fourth park, real quick, before we go into what's not going to happen, because I just want one good thing that's not going to happen. Resorts. Do you have any idea about resorts? Because I have one thought. Speculation is going on that Reflections, a lakeside resort that was originally going to happen at Fort Wilderness, may come back. They may be bringing it back.
Was that a DVC?
That was going to be a DVC, and it's they haven't announced anything, but I think we're going to start hearing that. Polynesian's almost done. The towers are going to be opening up. That's DVC. They made a lot of the cabins at Fort Wilderness are now DVC.
Right.
Are we going to bring Lakeside Resort back or any resort?
I don't see them announcing any DVC property until the current inventory is exhausted.
Right.
Meaning you're not going to open another property if they haven't sold the other one or see an end to selling it in sight.
Right.
Is there going to be another DVC? Absolutely. As soon as inventory is required, they will build another one.
Right. So this brings me to what I don't think you're going to hear about, because there is not enough resort rooms down here. People are clamoring for another moderate. They want another value resort here at Disney World. There is space. Disney has the permits. They can build them, or they have the approval if they want to. They need to. That is why you will not hear one word about a fifth park at Disney World this year. There will be no fifth park announcement. There is no infrastructure. there is not enough hotel rooms. You have to build out first.
There's too many other things.
You are 10, at least 10 or 15 years away from even thinking about a new park. You got to fill up Disney World. You got to fill up the infrastructure. You have to build resorts. I think Disney needs to build and announce a resort this year that is not deluxe and is not DVC.
So moderate.
Sure, or you have another value. Like, you're selling out those values. Yes, they don't make $400 a night or $280 a night.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I would like to see the model that they used at Coronado Springs of bringing in the Grand Destino and putting a tower into a moderate to make it feel more upscale.
Right.
Once upon a time, it's the whole blessing of size and the curse of size. When you spread all of those facilities out, I don't like to be in a room that's a half a mile to the food court and another quarter mile to a bus stop. I want to get to a hotel room with an elevator that goes up and the elevator comes down, and I'm right at the food court and I'm right at a bus stop. And I would pay a premium to do that. I would like to see another tower somewhere. Now, does Caribbean Beach get a tower? Well, kind of did, but they ended up calling it the Riviera.
Yeah.
Right? That's basically what it is.
That was DVC. So, yeah.
Right. So is there a moderate that could do another tower? I would love to see that somewhere.
Sure.
I don't know.
You have French Quarter, and how many people love French Quarter and Port Orleans Riverside? Like,
sure.
That hotel and that resort gets some of the most love.
Sacrifice a couple of the Alligator Bayou clusters of buildings to put in a 10-story tower.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So I think that's what I don't think you're going to hear Fifth Park, but yeah. So
we getting a new boat? We getting a new boat?
Well, they're announcing the Destiny. All that's coming out.
That's the Heroes and Villains boat, right?
Yeah. They announced that the Oriental Land Company is going to be going into the cruising with then they have the Disney Adventure, which is going into Pan Asia. So another boat. I think what is it? You just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
You get bigger and bigger. Well, that was the boat
selling, man. Cruises are money.
They are. That boat you just mentioned, was that not the Treasure? The one
Adventure?
The Adventure, the really big one. That's the boat that they acquired during the pandemic from the company that went out of business when the boat was half constructed and Disney came in and took it over. It also represents the first Disney boat that has a casino aboard it, because in that culture, you can't have a cruise ship without a casino. There are certain things that you need. And that's just interesting to see. Dude, what would blow me away and I would absolutely love? Give me an ESPN club somewhere. Anywhere.
Sam, you're so hopeful.
Anywhere.
So
Give
hopeful.
me an ESPN.
So hopeful.
Please.
Dude, they haven't even opened Cake Bake Shop yet.
Oh my God. Put it on the boardwalk. It would be perfect.
All right, Sam, I got to get out of here. I'm about to be electrocuted for being live, or I'm going to lose power, man. One of those Florida storms are popping up. But anyway.
I get it. Thank you. Always good. We won't be here next week. We won't be here next week. I got some personal things going on. The week after is Expo. Greg and I will be there, maybe live. I don't know. But when we're back after that, we will be talking nothing but how wrong we were or how right we were.
How so wrong we always are. We are always wrong when it comes to this, Sam. Make sure you get Sam at Sam's Disney Daily. Get him at on YouTube at Sam's Disney Diary. Of course, samsdisneydiary.com. You can get me at fantasylandnews.com, Fantasyland News blog on Instagram, Fantasyland News here, wherever you are. We appreciate it. I'm going to say end of line.
Congaloosh, and make sure you check out the parade that might be there for Christmas in July tomorrow. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.